Everyone assumes full UFO disclosure is a US story, but it might not be. Here's how I think it plays out. Most countries would find it exciting, a new chapter for humanity. But underneath that, a lot of them would be thinking, finally, this has been one of the worst kept secrets in history. India wouldn't even blink. Their reaction would be, read the Vedas. We knew all about this thousands of years ago. But here's the real question. Which countries might grow tired of waiting on the US? Which countries might lose patience with the painfully slow drip of the American UFO files? Which countries might decide to go first? Mexico. This country has Jaime Maussan and decades of public interest. And Mexico's national character is all about standing strong, independent from the United States. But Mexico has no official UFO program. I don't think they have a budget. I don't know how much information they have. And I don't know to what extent they've had that information analyzed. But I'm guessing it's minimal. Same thing with Brazil. Their program has been open to the public for years, but it's small. My top 3 contenders for sidestepping the United States' slow disclosure process are different. Number 1 is France. The Cometa report was written in the 1990s by former French military and aerospace officials. It was released publicly a decade later. The report concluded that the UFO phenomenon is real, that it posed no danger to France, and that the US government knew much more than it was saying. That last conclusion was France basically giving the United States a stink eye on the record. Why would France go first? They're French. That's the entire reason. China. I don't know of any official Chinese UFO program, one of you might, but they have strict censorship and don't exactly publicize that sort of thing. In the past, they focused more on the military threat aspect of UFOs rather than the possibility of aliens. But while China plays a long game with secrets, it also cares enormously about face and public standing. And if the current US administration pushes too hard, if it feels like the US is insulting it, don't rule out China launching its own disclosure, just to humiliate the US on the world stage. Russia. Here's the one that should actually worry US intelligence. During the Soviet years, UFOs were, like in the United States and in China, viewed through a national security lens. But it's less clear what's happening in Russia now since the breakup of the Soviet Union. But we might have just gotten a clue. According to reporting on a program called Immaculate Constellation, a US asset tracked a Russian naval vessel near Kamchatka and observed it being met by a large black triangle. Not being intercepted, not chasing it. This was a planned meeting. The analysis reportedly concluded that the Russians knew it was coming. So while the US has spent decades shooting at these things or chasing them, it looks like Russia may have already established some kind of working relationship. Now, that's not a UFO story. That's a national security story. Of course, this might be only part of the story. There have been reports that certain groups in the United States, whether government or contractor, are actually working cooperatively with aliens. But if that's true, they're not sharing that information with the military folks who are shooting UFOs down, or with our government people who are classifying them as demons. So which approach do you think would actually get us to the truth faster? And which country would you nominate to go first? Drop it in the comments below.